Hello, yes, we're back. The EMOTIONA Podcast, episode 08, the 8th podcast in the sequence. Perhaps you've heard 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe you were there for 5, 6, and even 7. I don't know if you were or not, but as far as I can tell, I was there. You know what I mean? I feel like I was there, although it's hard for me to see that now, or I can't be there now. I just have this idea in my mind that I did that. It's just right now it's just a thought. I can't really prove to you, especially over the microphone, that those episodes happened. I mean, I could pull it up on Spotify or Apple iTunes, whatever Apple podcast programs out there, you know, and we could look at it. We could look at the data. But even the data doesn't really, it's just data. Anyways, welcome back. Thanks for listening, by the way. It's really cool that you're here and that you hear me and that I hear you indirectly and would like to hear more from you. Feel free to reach out, like DM, Instagram at EMOTIONA Music. Throw me an email if you're feeling super crazy, emotionamusic@gmail.com. Love to hear what's going on in your life. This is a crazy part. This is a crazy episode. This is the birthday episode, June 17th. 2021. It's my birthday. And kind of looking forward to it. Like this is just a cool thing for me to sort of talk to myself and talk to you over the airwaves, but to kind of just look back on, you know, the past year. That's always a cool thing to do on your birthday, right? To sort of just see where you've been, think about where you might be going, you know, and where do you think you should be going? What are your goals? What are your thoughts? How do you feel? So far so good. It's been super cool. Classic social media. It's like the best part about Facebook for sure is the birthday updates, right? So everyone's saying happy birthday over Facebook. That's so cool. Or over Instagram, tagging on Instagram. That's super neat. But we've got a lot planned for the bday podcast here, the EMOTIONA podcast episode 08. We're going to talk about the first EMOTIONA live show. We're going to talk about EMOTIONA 3.0. What does that even mean? Is this a software update? We're talking about EMOTIONA 3.0. We're talking about 3D art in this new cinematic world. What does that mean? That's exciting. We're also going to talk about a little new music. There's a lot of new music in the works, and I'm probably just going to not go too far on it. But we're going to talk about how excited I am for new music. There's some finally concerts are back. We talked about when the lights come back. Well, the lights are back. Shows are a thing, and I've got tickets to go to a few shows. We're gonna talk about concerts this summer, and we're gonna do the classics. We might talk about some music that I'm listening to, or we're gonna do a little time travel, a little timeline recap. All that and more is waiting in this incredible episode. But yeah, let's talk about the first show. That was so cool. Finally getting to play. Finally getting back on stage at the Mousetrap. Such a cool thing. It was with I Exist, my homie Cam Reeves. You know, we did our thing as well. But yeah, right from the start, I mean, I could just talk about such a super professional crew at Indie Mojo and the Mousetrap. I mean, right off the bat, I just have to quick shout out Indie Mojo, Matt, Richard, Stuart at the Mousetrap. Thanks so much, you guys, for making my first show so awesome. It felt so good to be with you guys. So it wouldn't have been the same without you. Thank you. That's real talk. Quick shout out right out of the gate. What do you think of that? But yeah, honestly, they were so professional. It was a total professionalism. They do shows every week, multiple times a week, and you can just tell that they wanted it to be as good as possible. And I always overthink stuff with production and put a lot of effort into, I don't know, how are things going to come across? What are the lights going to be like? Is there video? What's the sound like? And like we've said, maybe the last episode, I knew the first show is not going to be the best ever. There's going to be sort of things to iron out and kinks to get out of your system. But they were just ready to go. They were right there on the same page and they just wanted to help. And they were just super professional. And it was awesome. Felt so cool in that way. If you were there, if you came to the Mousetrap, thanks. Thanks for coming out. I know some of my downtown friends, it's harder for them to kind of go up to the north side or whatever. So I totally get that. It'll be cool to have a show at the Patron Saint or somewhere downtown. Maybe the new Hi-Fi Annex is really, really cool outdoor venue, downtown Indy. But yeah, thanks for coming out if you were there. It was cool seeing his old friends and stuff. And yeah, I wanted to come out like with a new, I don't know, as like a character, as a new person, as a new performer. So I kind of had this, I don't know, some headband on, some weird like scarf thing. And yeah, I'm still working on that. I'm still working on sort of how I want to come across like visually, you know, because it's cool. It's like go 100%. I'm ready. I'm not going halfway. You could play it safe and just dress casual, and that's, if that's your vibe, that's cool, you know, as a DJ or performer or whatever. But for me, I'm like, no, let's go ham. You know what I mean? So yeah, a friend got a cool shot of me, like, whatever. I don't want to talk too much about me, but I guess this podcast is sort of about me, right? That's weird. That's just my personality talking. That was a moment of insecurity there. Do you catch that? But there's a photo. I was just kind of got the cello, and I was just like ready to go, just balls out ham. Like I was just so accepting of that time and ready, and it felt good to be there. A really cool moment that I wasn't expecting was I was in the green room talking to Matt Ramsey. They were kind of pumping me up. We were just talking music and stuff, which was really cool. And I had this like intro set up. I had this like kind of soft, new agey piano, cello loop. I was gonna like ease into the set, and it was, you know, because you have this idea of what it might be like, but you don't really know, you know. So, anyways, we kind of get caught up talking in the back of the green room, and Matt's like, "Hey, dude, you got 5 minutes. Like, time to go," you know. So I get, you know, I'm kind of getting ready. And then the Dub Knight was killing it before, and he was like pumping up the space as he should. It was Web's Day, right? So they're going ham, like bass music, like he's turning up the heat. And like I've never done that before. I've never followed a DJ directly, and like the expectation is that they set the momentum for you, and you're just supposed to keep it going. You know what I mean? Like they're handing you the baton, or like the whatever they call it. They're handing you like the fire thing you hold in your hand, the torch. They're passing you the torch, and then it's lit. Like literally, the space is lit, and they're headbanging, and they're going off. So like in the moment, I went out there and I jumped on, and I was like, all right, it's time to go. You know. But I just naturally knew, like, we're not doing that soft intro. You know, that's not what they need to go straight into it. It's time to go like straight in to the juice, the energy, you know? So luckily I just kind of had that built into the set to where it was a natural thing where I just kind of skipped that first section. And it was awesome. Felt really good. It felt really cool to kind of be out there. It was you're just kind of testing the waters. I didn't really know what it was going to be like. I will say, like, we had a bunch of gear on stage. Like, we had the Isis drums, and it was just kind of crowded. Like, I was just kind of into the corner, so I wasn't set up like in the center like you normally would at like a DJ would be. Like, and like my next show, I'll be behind the decks, you know, with my little setup, and you'll be like, I'll be centered and like be right there with the crowd. But in this case, I was sort of like to the side of the stage, towards the back of the stage, in this little compartment. So I felt a little disconnected, a little sort of like it was hard to kind of connect with everybody, and I couldn't really move, you know, because I like to be like physically active on stage, you know, but I don't want to go overboard. But yeah, so that I feel like I was held back a little bit there. No one's fault, you know, but I just can't wait for the next show to have more space and more just sort of like eye to eye centered connectivity with the audience and stuff. So that'll be super cool. Maybe you'll be in the audience. Maybe that'll be us connecting in that moment. If and when and where that happens, I'm ready for it. But I will say I was kind of like, may have talked about like singing lessons, like vocal practice. I go to the gym like, you know, twice a week, but then like when I go to the gym in the car, I do like these vocal workouts and these vocal exercises. I've been doing that for like a long time. So this is the first time I've sang in like years. So I felt like really good. Like that was kind of good news. It was like I felt awesome vocally. So I was probably like over singing. just because I was like, I'm going there. Like, let's hit the gas. And I was just doing these big vocal moves. And I'm glad I did. Like, I'm just kind of like I'm just stretching. I'm just seeing like what's good. What's that feel like if I go in these big vocal sort of pads or these big soundscape type things? And so I may have been going overboard, but maybe not. It just felt really good to sing again in front of like human beings on Earth. It was really awesome. So I can't wait to do that again. Let's see the set list. Let's talk about the set list. So, I mean, I think every show that I'm gonna, plan something different and stuff. But this one, I had this like EMOTIONA intro, and I wanted to do this big orchestral sort of trance, this big trance intro. Like, I don't know. I was like, I wanted to bring the epicness. I wanted to go 10x on like the scale. So this huge trance lead, and then kind of went into this melodic drop, and then in this sort of like wubby bass drop. And that was like a custom intro that I made for the show. Really excited with how it turned out. And then I went straight into the 7-line, like the newest 7-line song, Shadows with Amity and Wooly. Incredible song. Right when I heard it, I was like, dude, gotta incorporate this into the set, So this cool thing, this EMOTIONA intro, big trance moment, melodic drop, wubby bass drop, and then it went straight into this woolly sort of like rhythmy, dubsteppy, just super hard, abrasive, bass thing, which for bday, the Mousetrap, that's what they want, you know what I mean? And then it went into like the 7 lines melodic drop. So it was like this 1, 2, 3, 4 little moment. And I sort of see them as like scenes now, which we can probably talk about that some other time, because I'm still learning how to plan out sets and how to organize stuff, But that first little pocket was cool. It worked out really well. And then we went into Heartlines, and it was like this extended mix of Heartlines, like with this cool drawn out sort of tribal drums, and I was like playing the drums on my drum pad thing, and that felt really cool. That felt really good. And then I'll go. It's hard to sort of explain. I essentially made new mixes of every song, like, because I feel like if I just played, I may have said this last episode, if I just played the same songs, like you would hear on the radio, it doesn't make it very dancey. So I made a remix essentially of every song, and it turned out to be really cool. Like, I'll definitely probably DJ in more other songs, other people's stuff more often, and just get better at it, But yeah, I had this extended mix of Heartlines, and then that went into Dumb, the first Nirvana song, the EMOTIONA song. And I guess we'll talk more about the timeline, but it flowed really well. It felt good. Again, I wish I could have connected more with the audience and stuff, and I guess I was having some mic feedback issues. I've got to cool down that microphone, but always learning, right? Always like learning stuff. So boom, that was it. That was the first show at the Mousetrap, and I just can't wait. It was like a 30-minute set. And I just can't wait to do it again. I can't wait to get even better. Like, it felt good, but I think I can do way better. And yeah, maybe later this summer, if it's June 17th today, maybe for this month and through July, I'll sort of start working on something, and maybe I'll hit up Meg at Patron Saint on they do bday. It's Altered Thursdays. Pardon me, at the Altered Thursdays. Bday's Patron Saint. So maybe do bday, at Patron Saint if they're down to have me. And so I'm excited to sort of just keep growing that out. So that was the first show recap. Let's talk about EMOTIONA 3.0. What? 3.0? I may have mentioned it last time, but I'm just kind of like always imagining what's the next phase, what's the next evolution of this whole project. You know what I mean? And the first one was the YouTube series where we did the 3 songs. We did the Nirvana, Odessa, Florence and the Machine. We had the drawn out sort of YouTube videos of like the process and showing like how the production went and how that all worked and stuff. And then 2.0 was like, let's make original music, because that's a slippery slope if you get caught up too far in that. You don't want to be like the cover artist, right? So I was like, I want to be original. So we got all original music. We have some original artwork. But now we have the live show, and I can see the next step. I'm working on like a new EMOTIONA logo and a symbol, because that kind of sets it off. Like if you have like that legit logo and symbol, all of a sudden it's like, well, this is like a real artist. This is something to get excited about. It's more than just a real artist. It's like it gives you something to put your imagination in, and like it's a brand and it's like an idea. And every time you see it, you're reminded, yes, I want to go there again, or I want to feel that again, or I want to connect with that, artist or that group of people again that I met at the show, that I was with at the show. It's like it's like a full thing. So new logo, new symbol, and then like a new energy. Like one thing that I really found while putting the set together was like, man, I texted my buddy Swarm. I was like, Swarm, good news. I just realized how boring all my songs are. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure if he like got it or not. Well, I know he gets it. Like when you're putting stuff together for a live show, and you're trying to make people dance and move, you got to bring the energy, you got to bring the heat, And I just noticed that I'm really proud of where my songs are, have been so far up to this point. But I just kind of saw that for what they are. They're good songs, but they just need to be edgier. I want to bring more energy. I want to just have the. So going forward into this new EMOTIONA stuff, this new chapter, I can just sense more of an edginess, maybe more of like a little bit more of an attitude and a grit. You know what I mean? I want to keep that softness and that that depth or whatever. Hopefully, that's always a goal. But to have a little bit more of an edge. And I guess it's just to cut through, to be more alive. Because it's like, you want to have both, right? You want to have the sword and the water. I want to write that down. Maybe that's part of the new logo. The sword and the water. That's sick. Definitely water with the flow, and that's good. But sometimes you have to attack. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. You know what I mean? And here's something, a real thing. Like, you talk about like cultural appropriation or whatever, and I just feel kind of held back. Like I want to be able to make whatever art I want, and I want to celebrate all cultures, and I want to be able to learn new things about new countries and new languages and new people from around the world, and I want to learn about their music and their culture and their art. And I want to combine it all, and I want to make something beautiful. And if I'm being honest, I've never really talked about it. I feel sort of held back by how sensitive people are. I just want to learn, and I want to celebrate. And I feel like it's just fear. It's probably my own fear. Again, I'm probably just exposing that I'm afraid of being judged in that way, because people will see me. They'll see my ethnicity. They'll see my skin tone. They'll see my sexual whatever, my body. And it's like, I feel like whenever you're putting yourself out there, you feel like you're being judged. You know what I mean? For better or worse. And I love who I am, I'm really proud of like the path I've taken and like how I'm able to do this now, So yeah, maybe I just need to be more clear with my message and why I'm doing it. So then if people know why I'm doing it, you can assume that they will, but if you're not clear enough, they may get it twisted or get it confused, And yeah, I just want to make really beautiful things that aren't from, the small town that I grew up in or whatever. I love the small town that I grew up in. Like we talked about it in one of the songs, But like my heart is like in this like larger, worldly, universal space. And I've got to go there. You know what I mean? And I know that if you're hearing this, or there's people out there that they want to go there with me, and I want to go there with you. You know what I mean? But it's just, I don't know if boldness is a word, but you have to be bold. It takes courage to do that. I feel like that's a big part of, I'm just at this crossroads to where, you can play it safe for so long. And I haven't been playing it safe so far. I've been true to myself, But as we talk about like this multiplier, this EMOTIONA 3.0, 4.0, like the next, as I keep gearing up, and all my friends are inspiring me. And all the music that, I listen to is just constantly inspiring me and stuff. But you just got to give yourself permission to go there and just put it out there. You know what I mean? My close friend Lindsay's just started her own podcast. Like that makes me so excited because she like inspired me to make this podcast. And like every time you do it, I just feel so good. I feel like it's just the right thing, So congratulations, Lindsay, on your first podcast if you're listening. I can't wait to hear more. But that's Emotion 3.0, and that's just where I want to go. If I get to keep living this life, if I keep my health, which I don't care if I do, if I don't, it is what it is. I've had an incredible life, and this is also like a birthday moment. But if I get to keep going, I gotta be bold, because it's like I owe it. I feel like I don't want to get too mushy or whatever, but it's like, if we're alive, like, you owe it to everyone around you to be the dopest version of yourself. And if you're not, you're cheating everyone around you. Like, they want to see the baddest version of you. Because it's like, when we do that, we're giving everyone else permission. It's all about permission. Give yourself permission, so other people, you're giving them permission. Because if not, you're just being held back. So anyways, let's talk about this 3D art. With the logo and the symbol, I've got a lot of like 3D, at this point, like years of background in like 3D art and programming with that big I Exist project. So it's like I was going to hold myself back. I wanted to get the ball rolling on this Emotiona stuff. And I was like, but once it is rolling, then I want to kind of get back into 3D. I didn't know what that meant. I made this VR app, I made this phone app. It was all just crazy and over the top. But I was like, I don't know what that looks like. But then once the ball's rolling, let's go there. So now that we have the first show, now that we have these songs, now that Emotion is a thing, it's like, now it's time. Let's get back into this 3D stuff. And what does that mean? You know what I mean? I posted on my Instagram story the other day, this meta-human creator. Technology right now is so insane. I can't believe it. I can't believe technology. And I'm honestly just like grateful for like having done the work and having failed a bunch, because now I know how to make dope things. And it's like, dude, all right, well, let's make some really cool 3D stuff. And like, what would that mean? So I don't want to force it. I don't want to do stuff that's too weird. But some things that are not weird and that are normal is live visuals for concerts, for your live show. You see every DJ, every band has like live visuals, especially like in electronic music, right? So super inspired by watching Swarm going in on it, and it's like, you can do it all yourself. You don't have to hire some 3D person. I've seen some YouTube. You got people on YouTube killing it in the 3D. So this idea that I can create a 3D world that's hopefully inspiring artwork. Like when I saw Odessa, like they just have beautiful artwork, like offline or like online rather, and also in concert. Like it totally just, if you find your look and the way you want to be portrayed visually, that can just be a mind blow live. You know what I mean? So I've kind of started. I'm going to keep going on developing. What does that look like? What does that look like to go into the world of the music? And that was a huge part of the I Exist project, was this idea that every song is a world. And Total was absolutely inspired by Porter Robinson when he said something along the same lines. Like he said, every one of us is a world. I remember seeing that at Electric Forest. Every one of us is a world that we can sort of go inside and experience each other. And I was just like, mind blown. It's beautiful. So I've been kind of just interested in the idea of exploring the world of a song, creating a space to explore and travel around. And what does that mean? And maybe it's just like a movie, maybe it's just like a 3D visuals, like I said. But I've thought about that per song. Like maybe I can make a little 3D space per song, and that could be the artwork. That's exactly what the I Exist stuff was. Go check it out if you haven't yet. If you want the I Exist Consciousness, it's our new album. But it's also an app that you can download to your phone on iPhone and Android. It's free. And it's this crazy AR 3D experience where you can walk around an album. Like I've never seen that done before. And if you have a VR headset, you can get on Steam VR, and you can have the headset, and then you're really there exploring through the space. So it's like, yeah, another birthday moment. I'm so proud that, that I created that with Cameron, and that we kind of went all the way down the rabbit hole there. And I just learned so much. My phone's going off. Just learned so much. And I I'm ready to apply that to the EMOTIONA project, and we'll see what happens. So a lot of really cool 3D stuff, a lot of possibilities. I'm just going to kind of have fun and dip my toe in the water and sort of see where that might go, you know, and kind of be ready for anything, you know what I mean? So that's the 3D cinematic world. Like, what if I could tell, like, you talk about music videos and you talk about, like, really the best music videos are, like, the really artistic ones, or kind of feel like a movie, and what are some creative ways that I can not only write songs and put them out there, but then, like, take people on, like, this journey, like, this visual thing, and you can kind of go as deep as you want. I definitely want to focus on music first, and I have so far, because you can kind of get lost in that idea. I got lost for years in that idea, you know. But I'm glad I came out the other side, and like, here we are, June 17th. Which, by the way, concerts are back. This is we just graduated part. This is the new section of the podcast. The new concerts and festivals are back. I've got tickets, by the way. Been talking with friends. Texting, like, hey, you going to this show? Yeah, you going? Okay, cool. Let me grab a ticket. The first one on the list, North Coast. I think it's up in like Chicago area in Illinois. And let's look. Here's the North Coast lineup. Or not the whole lineup, but some of it. September 3rd through 5th, 2021. Cascade, which I've never seen Cascade. I'd really like to see Cascade. Zed's Dead. It'd be kind of cool to turn up with them. Grizz is cool. Ganja White Knight, which I may have seen before, and I may have mentioned this on another episode, but I want to dip my toe in like the Wubby water. The Wubby water. I think something might be there. You know, you talk about kind of Wookiee, sludgy, weird, bassy music, wonky. Those are all just W words, you know. But yeah, I think it'd be cool to. I don't know, the first, like I said in the show, the first drop, it was sort of like that, a little wubby. And I thought it turned out good. Like, what if I brought some emotional, feely type, melodic, bassy stuff to the wubby world? Which my first thought is to bring into the dubstep heavy world, because that's what I listen to most, you know? But what I like about the wubbiness is, like, it's more chill. It's not as abrasive. It's just as cheesy. But it's not as like angry, and it's more, I can also be, I don't know, if I was being, I'm not gonna say how old I am, because that's lame, you know, but I could be like all my other friends that are older into electronic music, and just play trance and house music. And I like trance has my heart. That's what got me into electronic music. I love trance. We'll talk about that here in a hot second. But I don't feel called to make that. I don't feel called to make clubby, four on the floor, boots and hats stuff. Like, maybe I can make some hybrids. Like I said, I had this massive trance lead. I love incorporating trance ideas and sounds and feelings into stuff, you know. But I'm not really called to make four on the floor. But I love bassy music, and I love hip hop and like grimier, nastier stuff. So yeah, I love the idea of kind of combining more emotional sounds with it. So I may go there when we talked about the new sound, or some of the new sounds with the edginess. I've already got some in the works. It's turning out really cool. Yeah, maybe combine that. But let's see. Rez is going to be there. Love Rez. Lane 8, beautiful. Just listened to Lane 8 with a good buddy last night. He's got a new summer mixtape. Nightmare. Love Nightmare. San Holo. I've never seen San Holo live. He'd be one of my favorites to see. That's almost like I have to go see that. He'd be on my number one. So if you said who you're excited to see North Coast, San Holo. Cascade will be sweet. Test Pilot was awesome at Electric Force. I saw one time. LS Dream. So that's what it would be. San Holo, LS Dream. This is just like the EMOTIONA. the people I'd want to see at at North Coast. If you're at North Coast, meet me at the San Holo stage or at the LS Dream. I'll probably be at Cascade. Let's meet up. It'd be sweet to say hey and, you know, high five each other. Even hug. Isn't that crazy? That'd be nice. But yeah, also here in Indianapolis, there's some really cool things going on. Deadmau5 is coming to Indianapolis, which is insanely exciting. Got a ticket for that. That'll be super cool. Man, there's some really exciting information about that show that I can't talk about. But if you know, you know, potentially. Marsh, which I wasn't familiar with Marsh yet, but the Anjuna, sort of Indianapolis Anjuna family, it's just coming together. There's on every Tuesday nights at the Melody Inn, there's been like a progressive house and trance night at the Melody Inn, and it's been so cool. I just want to give a quick shout out to one of my best friends, Bruce Jackson. So proud of what you're making, man, with the Progressions Night. Trung, an Indianapolis Anjuna family. I never thought I would say that. It's coming together. I'm just so excited for where we're at. So, peace. That's real. But yeah, that's the the 4-on-the-floor boots and hats stuff I was just talking about. But that's what got me into electronic music. So as a fan, I'll still go and meet up. And I've been trying to get out of the studio more and hang out with my friends and just see them more often and support them. And I love that music, and maybe I can mold some stuff. Like, I've seen some of my favorite bassy artists have crossed over into Anjuna, and that would be like a dream for me, is to do the same thing that I've seen obviously Seven Lions do, but Jason Ross has done it. I can't believe they got Midas, like on Above and Beyond, the group they're playing Midas playoffs. Sorry, I mean Midas in a good way. I love Midas's music. I just think it's so cool that they're embracing, halftime bassier music. So for me, that's a dream. Like, have start going that way to where I can embrace my past of the trance, tranceness, and make the trance gods happy, But then, yeah, I'm just trying to push towards something more original and more unique, and not be so cookie cutter with songs and everything. But yeah, that's it. What am I listening to? I mean, right now, this is like the first podcast where I didn't do a song release. We're not talking about a song release because I've just taken off time to work on the live set like we talked about, but then also just kind of see this next chapter. But been working on huge collaborations with friends and people that I admire so much, and I don't want to really talk too much about it. But since there hasn't been a song this month because I'm working on these big time, so stoked for you to hear collaborations. And it's like one thing for me to make something, but it's another thing to give it to another person that, in my opinion, is one of the greatest producers on the planet, and have them just take it to a whole nother place, And that's just like, that's the ultimate thing, to be able to share energy like that, and to share projects. So yeah, I guess we're going to wrap things up with a little Emotiona timeline recap. And we already did throughout the whole podcast. We talked about Emotiona 1.0 when we were on the YouTube series, and we were more in the studio capturing it with video, and wanted to tell a story with how songs can come together over Ableton Live and in that music production space, And we did Nirvana because that was the first band I ever listened to, or the first Nirvana Unplugged, what got me into music. That's why I started playing the guitar, And then I did Odessa because I've had so many beautiful moments with Odessa, and I bet they're working on a new album right now. I haven't heard anything, but I'm sure it's gonna be insane. So it was really cool to do that. And Florence and the Machine, that was the third Emotiona Project song, and for me that was like, I wanted to touch base with my inner new age-ness, or my inner sort of world music. And that's just something that's always been in the back of my head, is something I want to incorporate, and it's still a massive part of where I want to go. I want to incorporate those sort of movie soundtracks, sort of classical elements, sort of tribal, just stuff that's kind of big, and I want to keep doing that. And so that was the first chapter, and then the 2.0 was the first Emotiona song, Goodbye to the Year. Remember that? New Year's. And then we did When the Lights Come Back, which that's really cool to still hear, to see people still playing that song. And then Sandcastles, that was a very much, that always reminded me of like spring. I'm so glad that happened at spring break, or not spring break, but springtime, because that's what it reminded me of, is springtime. And that song is like going to remind me in a current way of like still loving that time of the year, you know what I mean? And having that story. And then Walked on the Moon was this really this soft sort of fun thing to do. And I think that honestly, if I'm being honest, I'm so proud of the production and the song. That's when, because right after Walked on the Moon, I started putting the live set together, and that's when it hit me. I was like, dude, you need to beefing up. you need to step up. What's with the softness? Like, I love the softness of it, but it hit me as like, I want to bring more of an edge and an energy to this whole thing. So that'll do it for this podcast. Thanks for hanging out. Like, thanks for, if you've been listening through a bunch of these podcasts, that means a lot that we've gotten to connect and stuff. And for me, it's kind of cool just to get on the microphone and just go through, the past year. What's it been like? I'm so excited. I feel really good. I've been eating really well, and like, honestly, like, I guess not everyone here says this, but like, I'm in the greatest shape of my life. Like, I'm the older guy in the infomercial saying I'm in the greatest shape of my life, but I am. So I'm feeling so good. So I want to keep that going. And I've got just so many awesome friends. We're at this cool checkpoint where had some friends move to LA, but we're gonna be best friends forever just because we have so much time, to spend. But it feels like a new opening for me, and I just feel just ready and grateful, and I just can't wait to keep making music, and can't wait to keep making things and sharing them with you and stuff. So thanks again for hanging out on my birthday. It means a lot. Until we meet again, peace and love.